Before we get to our hot topics, I want to address a few comments we got last week about. I think we have to start over. Oh, I thought, was that you? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that was me. I messed up. Okay, back to the subject. What I wanted to address some of the comments we got from our last week talking about Minister Louis Farrakhan's suit against ADL and the Jewish community. Some of you took offense to my position. I never said that minister did not have a right to sue the ADL. I never said that. And for one of you, I don't even want to recognize what your name and everything is. You talked about me being on the wrong side of history. Well, I don't think that you're a judge to determine what historians 100 years from now are going to say about our history. And I feel very comfortable with the positions I've taken concerning Minister Louis Farrakhan. Maybe some of you out there think he walks on water, but I don't. He's just another human being who's open to be critiqued and looked at just as another person. And so, don't come at me like I need to believe he walks on water, because I don't believe that. I just wanted to get that out there. Did anyone else want to comment on the comments from last week that we got?
No, I think you said pretty much the right thing. One of the things that because we all looked at all the comments, and opinions are not has age limitations. Some of you guys who complain may be in your 40s. Fred is the oldest person on the panel and has seen a lot more things than you have experienced. So the comments that we make are based on our experience, how we're viewing the world. Our worldview will be a lot different because of the experiences that we have gone through, especially as Black people.
Okay. With that said, we can get to our topic. On October 7th, the Hamas invaded Israel, and I think they killed like 1,400 men, women, and children. As a retaliation to that attack, Israel has now killed over 10,000 Palestinians, and almost 4,000 of them have been children. And under the guise that they're trying to get rid of the Hamas in Palestine. And I think that's enough is enough. You're not trying to get rid of Hamas. You're trying to do ethnic cleansing. When you kill children, and children are there, and you just say they're a part of the collateral damage. Children should not be a part of collateral damage. What you're doing it from above. You're dropping these bombs, and you're doing all this stuff from above. Traditionally, wars were fought on ground between men and then women, and children were off limits. But Israel, you've done away with that. Children to you, and if the Palestinian children can be killed. And I just think it's become a slaughter. It needs to stop. And what irritates me is our Secretary of State goes over there. He talks to the head over there. Can't even think of the Netanyahu says, please do a pause in the killings so we can do some humanitarian things in the Gaza. 10 minutes after he walks out of Netanyahu's office, Netanyahu goes on television and says, we're not stopping anything. We're going to continue the killing. Now, check this out, people. They want $14 billion of our money to use to kill more people. And he can tell our Secretary of State, I don't care if you give me $14 billion, we're going to continue to do it. Man, he should have gone there and told Netanyahu, if you drop one more bomb, you're going to not go get that $14 billion. Mm-hmm. Now, why don't we have politicians or leaders or Biden who can do that instead of running over there, kissing Netanyahu on the cheek while they're killing babies? And so, I think it's pathetic and it's terrible. And we all understand what happened on October 7th. We're not excusing Hamas. Hamas is terrible and vicious killers. But Israel, you are too, the way you're killing kids and women. I saw, I couldn't hardly stand to look at it. They pulled a baby out from under the rubble, and the father was carrying his baby crying, saying, why couldn't I have saved your life? That child was no more than 4 years old. What kind of people do that? These folks talk about they're God's chosen people. Well, if they're God's chosen people, I wonder about that God. I'm sorry, God, I didn't mean to do anything wrong. I don't need another check mark. I gotta know already. But come on, God would never condone, a loving God would never condone that kind of killing on either side. And so that's you all can jump into it.
The sad thing about all this is that from the beginning of time, war has been based on a slighted or huge retranslation from a scriptural perspective. Somewhere, the Jews are God's chosen people. Okay, so if that's what you believe, fine. But does that give you rights, as you're saying, to go around and doing something as equally wrong or more than what the Hamas did? It's getting to the point where even you have a lot of American Jews who are now protesting. They want to see a stop to the slaughter. I go on my Facebook page and I see people saying, I support Israel. I support Israel. So what are you saying? Are you supporting the slaughter of innocent people? Again, Hamas was wrong. But what are you saying? Are you supporting this? I went online to one church here in San Antonio to see what the minister was saying, and he was saying, I'm for Israel. I'm for Israel. So what are you really saying when you're saying you're for Israel?
Yeah, and the killings, you can't justify it anyway. What they say is, well, we know. Oh, the other one they like to say is, this gets me. They say, we're trying to protect our people, and then they say, we're trying to protect the Palestinians. We're trying to free the Palestinians from Hamas. And so that's their justification. Well, you're freeing the Palestinians while you're killing them. Come on, give me a break.
That's the idea of freeing them.
That's the idea of freeing them.
But you know what? When you talk about the God's chosen people, so remember, their God is the one that allowed the Passover, right? Okay. So that's the God they believe in. The God that, baby's wholesale gone. So the other point is that Hamas, right? They're never going to get rid of Hamas because Hamas is an idea, right? They view Hamas as an organization as opposed to viewing Hamas as an idea. Hamas or represents freedom. Hamas represents liberation. Hamas is fighting to get their land back. You're never going to get rid of an idea like freedom and liberation.
Right.
Never. The other thing is, Hamas may have been responsible for 1,400 deaths, right? Was it 1,400?
1,400.
1,400 deaths. But the Israeli police and Israeli military kills 1,400 Palestinians, more than 1,400 Palestinians in a good year.
Yeah.
So
now they killed more than 1,400 in a day.
Yeah. So my thing is, I'm talking about just in a normal year, more than 1,400. So is it okay as long as you don't kill them all at once? What is, you know what I mean? As long as you space out the killings, it's okay to kill 1,400 people. So I guess that's the way they view it.
Do you think for them to do that, as a race, we had to deal with a race of people who thought they were better than us. And so it brings up the incident that happened in Georgia, where the white folks lynched this black woman, and she was 8 months pregnant, and then they slit open her stomach, and the baby fell out, and they stomped the baby to death. Why? Because they didn't view us as being human, equal to them. Is that, do you think, what's happening over there?
Absolutely.
Don't view the Palestinians, so it's okay to do it to them, but it can't. They check this out. It's okay for us to do it to them, but they can't do it to us.
Right.
You know, when I knew this show was coming, and a thought came across my mind. Hamas is viewed as terrorists. The Black Panthers were viewed as terrorists. Anything black is viewed as terrorists. And so this word terrorist is only applicable to marginalized people who are not white.
They're the patriots.
And then the other
White folks
folks,
are patriots.
you know, white folks are patriots. We don't care if they're American or Jewish or Israeli, because again, they got some American Jews who are not for what's going on in Israel. So the whole issue is they're trying to get rid of the terrorists when they're terrorizing a group of people.
Yeah, and I was watching, I think I mentioned Blinken when he went over and met with Netanyahu. So he has he's talking, holding a press conference, and check out how he starts it. They showed me some pictures. Oh, the brutality of the Hamas. Oh, the way they were killing the women and the children. He set it up that way. He set it up, and every time you hear the whole incident talked about, they start with October 7th. They start with, so I'm starting to believe that even our media is justifying what Israel is doing in Palestine by going back to October 7th.
Well, they should go back to 1948.
Okay.
when I think it was like 900,000 Palestinians were expelled and murdered, and so yeah, they never want to start in 1948 when the original
When it started.
Right. So that's the thing about that. But
there is some, I don't know if there's proof, but I know there's been some articles written that Hamas did not cut off babies' heads.
Right.
They haven't been able to show one.
Right.
Now they may say, oh, well, it's too, they cut off the baby's head. Oh, but it's too terrible to show. Well, come on, that covers it up.
Yeah.
Those two Jewish women that were released from Hamas, they've said some interesting information that contradicted the media's narrative as to what's going on. She's, you know, that one lady says they treated us well, they fed us well, you know, and that kind of contradicts this image of people being starved to death and everything else. So,
and they had no reason to lie because they were already free, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
Right. So it's come out in the media recently that people are walking back those statements about beheaded babies and those kind of incidents. And so even the White House has had to walk those statements back.
why are we so one-sided in this whole thing, folks? Why are we so one-sided? Even today, when everyone, college students, everyone is starting to see, hey, this thing is way out of line. This thing is way out of focus. This is getting to be ethnic cleansing. Why is the House of Representatives, they just passed, we won't go to the Senate because of the way they wrote it, but both the House and the Senate is ready to send Israel $14 billion. Now, here's their excuse. We got to give them this money for defense. Well, didn't we just give them $10 billion for defense?
Right.
So now they need another $14 billion for defense. And we have, hey, you all, we're to blame. We are to blame because we're giving them the money to build these weapons of mass destruction that's killing these people. So when the people in the over there hate us, we're giving them reason, aren't we?
It's Israel is America and Europe's white supremacist colony in the Middle East. It's their aircraft carrier in the Middle East. That's what it is. If they need to strike Iran, they can do it from Israel. If they need any kind of influence that they need, wherever they need to strike, they can do it from Israel. Same reason there's a CIA drone base in Niger. They can strike anywhere they need to. That's what Israel represents for them. It's their white supremacist colony in the Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they support them.
You're quiet over here, love.
Very quiet.
Yeah.
I've really thought about this a lot, and my feeling is that you're looking at I guess the whole world is looking at this from a humane standpoint, and more so, I think, than we ever have. And I feel the same way you feel about Israel, but I also feel that the Palestinians have a story that has not been told or very seldom gets told. So, it's like the tennis player, I can't remember what her name was, but she won this tennis match. And she decided to give her whole purse to the Palestinians. And she said, look, it's not because, she said, there shouldn't be politics in tennis. And I'm not trying to make this politics. She said, but I'm trying to be humane and say it's not good for Palestinians to die, nor is it good for Israelis to die as well. So that's kind of where I'm at, and the reason that's been the reason really why why I've been silent is because there's a no win to this situation.
Yeah, we give Israel $14 billion to buy weapons. We give Palestine, $80 million for humanitarian reasons. Check that out. Why are we... So I guess the Palestinians don't need weapons to defend their children.
I think we are
Israel does, but the Palestinians shouldn't get any money from us to defend their kids. It's okay. We're saying it's okay to kill their kids. Do you guys realize that? Do y'all realize that? We're saying it's okay to kill their kids.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Chris was saying, the whole world is looking at this. I'm going to say for one reason alone. I think all of us are sitting on edge if this is going to tip off into World War III.
Yes, I believe it will.
I think that's what everybody's nervous about. And so it's not good. It's not, and and I know what's in Revelation. I know what it says in there and everything. But the whole world is looking because this thing could tip off into World War III. We're in San Antonio, Texas. We got military bases all around us. We're a target.
Oh, we are. Definitely. Yeah.
I believe that the African countries, especially all around probably that region, are probably on the side of the Palestinians. You've got very few, maybe China and Russia, that might be on the side of the Palestinians.
Might be. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're going to be. And that's what's frightening. And if you ought to believe this, read your history. Go back and see how World War I got started. See how World War I got started, how it just catapulted. Boom, boom, boom. And then you had a major war. And the thing about wars now, they're not fought the way they used to be.
And now there's a bill just being suggested from a Republican representative and from Montana about deporting Palestinians going back as far as October 1st. So they're trying to reenact that anti-Muslim ban.
What? Right. Yeah. They want the Palestinians deported from this country. And I, for the life of me, I can't figure out why Israel has such total control over Washington, D.C. I can't. I guess maybe it's money. I don't know. But anyway, anyone want to? We can go to some closing remarks here.
What the point I want to make is this: that I've seen some things on social media where black folks are going at each other. Where you have some that are supporting Israel, some that are supporting Palestine. I know you're on social media. Have you seen that kind of? So my thing is this. So
We're going to get some hits on this. We're going to get some hits from black folks saying that we're caping, for the Palestine.
But I mean, just historically, I need for black folks to understand. And they always use this thing that white American Jews supported blacks in the civil rights. So that is true. Young white Jewish college students
They did.
participated and supported us before they were immersed in their world of Jewish privilege as they got older. When they were still young and ideological, yeah, they did support us. But they need to understand the difference between young idealistic Jewish folks in America and the Zionists in Israel. They need to understand there's a big difference between Israeli Jews and American Jews. And so the Israeli Jews have a history of racism. There was a black Israeli soldier in uniform who was beaten to death by Israeli police officers. This was recent. And they didn't see that he was in uniform protecting Israel. They just saw the color of his skin. And so the Phoenicia Jews, the Beta Jews from Ethiopia are subject to this daily, this racism. And so there's a history of racism. The Jews played a major role in financing both slave trades, and I'll get to the both part in a second. But yeah, they played a major role in financing the transatlantic slave trade. There's a history of racism. And if you go back to history, you have to understand something. They wanted to take Uganda from the black people before they took Palestine from the Palestinians. So that's something I wanted to mention. But also this affinity for Arabs and the Palestinians. Okay, so before the transatlantic slave trade, there was an Arab slave trade that decimated Africa too. And so even as late, this is recent, Egypt has talked about bombing a dam in Ethiopia, which would result in millions of black folks dying because of floods. And so, I mean, and I know we're running out of time, but I could go on and on, but there's a history of anti-blackness in the Arab community and in the Jewish community. So we don't need to be fighting over supporting either one of them. You know what I mean? We have an affinity for the oppressed because we have gone through it. We know what apartheid looks like because South Africa has gone to it. So yeah, we do have these feelings about apartheid in Israel.
If I can, go ahead.
I get to you next.
Okay.
We gotta close out. Go ahead. Your turn.
No, I was just going to say I wanted to make the point to Fred that you're making the same point that Farrakhan's making.
Oh,
I don't know.
We're out of time.
You don't want to get into You want to start a second hot topic, and we can talk about Farrakhan. Okay. You want to you're not going to take these jabs and be able to get away with it. Okay. We can do a second hot topics today.
No, we can't. I gotta go cook.
Okay. Closing comment.
Again, I think that the overall global concern is if we're getting ready to go into World War III. Buckle up.
Okay.
I would just echo kind of what Sharon just said earlier. The whole world is watching. We really need to look at, especially in America, we need to look and quit playing Boo Boo the Clown, because we keep giving everybody this money when right now I think we could use it ourselves.
Reparations?
You may not even see that, but yes.
All right, make sure.
Okay. In closing, the definition of humanity is everyone. It means everyone. So under a humanitarian way of looking at this, a Palestinian child's life is just as important as an Israeli child's life or as a child in America. So some of you folks who are justifying this brutal killing in the Gaza, look at your child and imagine your child is stuck under that rubble from one of those bombs. And then think of every day you live, every moment you're awake, and you can't sleep because you don't know if the next bomb is going to hit. And I think that's the way we should look at it. And everyone, as important as anyone else.
Hear, hear.
And Israel needs to stop it right now. And if they don't, Biden needs to, and the Congress needs not to send that $14 billion to them.
Sanction them.
In the meantime, this is Contemporary Black Voices. And again, we're telling our story